So this is what attic rain looks like, everybody. It's actually snowing and raining in this attic. From the sheeting down onto the insulation.
Hey everybody. So I just wanted to take a break from finishing up these reports that I'm doing for the inspections that we did this afternoon and talk about something that we saw today called attic rain. So if you're not familiar with what attic rain is, it's essentially moisture that's coming from the livable space in your house up into the attic and then getting trapped there due to a lack of ventilation. So what happens is that moisture will rise, eventually hit the roof sheeting and freeze. And when it freezes there, it starts to turn into little it looks almost like snowflakes or frost. And then ultimately over time, it starts to build up and turn to icicles. Depending on how cold it is outside, and in Alberta this week it's been extremely cold. It was minus 40 last night. So it's not surprising to see a little bit of frost in the attic space. But to start to see it build up, it obviously means that moisture is getting up into the attic, and either due to snow blocking vents or due to insulation blocking soffit vents, there isn't enough ventilation to be able to get that moisture out of the attic space before it freezes and turns to ice. So what can happen with this is, depending on how the weather changes, if you have a slow, gradual raise in temperature, so from say minus 30 to minus 27 to 25 up to minus 20 to minus 15, that will allow a little bit of that frozen water vapor time to vaporize and leave the attic through the vents, assuming that they're open. But if we have a quick rise in temperature, like something like a Chinook, what will happen is that moisture won't have enough time to be able to vaporize and get out of the attic space. So it'll turn to liquid, and then it will eventually start to drip and essentially rain in the attic space. And so what that will do, usually it'll cause a few things. It's definitely going to make the insulation wet and potentially need to be replaced because it's too wet to be saved. It can also cause staining on upper floor ceilings, and ultimately it could, in worst case scenarios, it could lead to mold up in the attic. None of those are ideal. None of those are something that you want to have in your home. So what we always do when we start to see a heavy buildup of frost in an attic, and especially in these cold snaps like we're having right now, we'll always recommend that a roofer comes in, takes a look at all the ventilation in that attic space, and if more vents are required, then hopefully they're able to do that sooner rather than later. Obviously they can't do it when there's 3 inches of snow on the roof very easily, but we'll get that noted. But we also try and note those issues as well. So we'll get up in the attic, we'll take a look around. If we can see ventilation or vents that are blocked, or if we can see, for example, a bathroom vent fan, or fan vent, I should say, that's not properly connected, we'll note that as well, just to give those roofers a head start and also provide a little bit of peace of mind to those buyers and sellers that are involved in the transaction that don't want to be left in the dark about this moisture that's in the attic. Obviously, the buyers want to know how it can be fixed, and the sellers, for sure, they don't want to be left in the dark as well because they still own that home. So if this deal falls through, they're still left with a wet attic. So we want to be able to point them in the right direction so that that problem can be solved by a qualified tradesperson, so that it gets done right. And doesn't need to be repeated. So what I'm going to challenge everybody to do is, depending on when you're watching this video, go find a ladder and go up to your attic hatch and go poke your head into your attic and take a look. If it's nice and clean and dry, then you have no issue, and you can go about your day and everything's great. But if you have significant frost or snow or ice buildup, then you're going to want to call a roofer or call us, and we can help you identify what the problem is and help you find a roofer or a tradesperson that can go up and take a look for you. if you're watching this late at night, or you're not able to get to your house to take a look in the attic hatch right away, make sure you put a reminder in your calendar or something to go and take a look, because the average homeowner probably hasn't looked in their attic since they moved in, if they ever looked in at all. So it's not a bad idea to just go and take a look. So have a great night, everybody, and talk to you soon.